Hello and welcome to the opening round of the Race Spec F1 Esports PS4 Formula 2 Pacific Series here in Sakhir, around the Sakhir International Circuit for the Bahrain Grand Prix. This is obviously Season 2 now of the F2 Series. After a really strong showing, or a really strong performance from all the drivers in Season 1, we have decided to continue that over to Season 2, and now we have separated a lot of the regions into their own areas so that we can try and minimize the lag around each. Okay, I've completely stuffed this intro up, but anyway, my name is Exprit. Thank you guys so much for joining, and joining me in the commentary box now, hopefully for the remainder of the season, is CurvingTexas. So welcome to the stream for the first time, Curving. It's going to be great to have you. So how are you feeling after for commentating tonight?
Yeah, should be a good ride. Thanks for having me with you for tonight and the rest of the season. All right, so tonight we're at the Bahrain International Circuit. First Grand Prix was in 2004. They've held a race here every year since, apart from 2011. The circuit length is 5.412 kilometres. And yeah, so a few overtaking hotspots. Obviously with the DRS down into turn 1, you've got a last of the late breakers there, hard braking zone, and after that another short straight between turn 3 and turn 4, which is another really good overtaking spot, and then down the back straight from turn 10 into turn 11, drivers will look to try and get a good drive out of that corner and get some slipstream and hopefully make some moves. We might be on for a real nice race here, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. So it's going to be a tight race here, but we're going to swap over the main screen because the drivers are now heading out for their qualifying session. We will go through your driver lineup as soon as this is over. But as you can see, it is a full grid here this afternoon for round 1, so it's going to be very tight. Obviously, we need to point out a couple of things to do with the settings. Fixed setups in these Formula 2 cars, so they are absolutely equal. There is no advantage to be gained with the setups at all, but it looks like Big Dong is actually leading the way somehow, but I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't.
Start from it.
Yeah, it is a very good start from the Campos driver. So he himself and BKXI, no shock, are both in the Campos cars for this season. We'll go through the remainder of your driver's standings. So not your driver's standings, your driver lineup after the session is over. But it's looking pretty tight at the moment between the Gaming Wafer and Big Donga. All assists are allowed as well in this league. So there's really not many differences in between these cars as well, so it's going to be very tight. Donga really runs too deep into that double left-hander there, as we know, well, that corner's really known for just running too deep into there, and it's very easy to lock up the inside front if you do run no ABS. But they now are about to cross over into the third sector. Wafer currently leads away ahead of Jay Schmidt, and Spilly's now got himself up in a P2, so it's very tight. I don't really want to swap in between all these cameras because it does go to that black cutscene. But anyway, Wafer still leads away at the moment. It doesn't look like Zach Crichton's up there at all. He's down in P8 as well. Todso is battling with Spilly at the moment. This is for P4 and P3. These two are very tight between each other, but Game Wafer's led a lot of this lap, so he could be on here for provisional pole position as they now head through the final corner. Just witness Todso lock up the inside front a little bit there in that Vitersi car, or as they're liking to call it, Team Kiwi Racing, but they now come up to the line. Goes the drivers, and Wafer gets pole position with 39.6, so he's done a very nice lap there, a couple of tenths faster than P2. I'm not too sure it was, but Todd's here, as you can see on the screen, only managed to get P4, but it is obviously a one-shot qualifying. The top 8 from the first race will be reversed for the second race, and I believe it's a feature race for the first. Believe the first race is the feature race, but Gaming Wafer took pole position 2 tenths faster than XXJ Schmidt, and for qualifying on pole position in these F2 cars as well, you get an extra 4 points added to your championship total. So Wafer actually leads away at the moment in the championship standings. Jay Schmidt in P2 for Sauber, ahead of the Triton driver is Spilly. Todd's to P4, ahead of BK, Crossy, Pure Gold, Kickbutt Kiwi, Zach Crichton, and rounding out your top 10 will be Dr. Dre 3000. But let's swap back over real quick now to your driver lineup. I'll go through your first couple of drivers here, if it's going to let me swap between them for you guys. Sorry, give me 1 sec. It's not working for me. I don't know why. Alright, there you go. So here we go. Our Grand Prix, as you can see, Iceman, CS13, and the Gaming Wafer. So that's not too sure. We'll have to see how Iceman goes. I haven't witnessed to see what his how he drives really. I'm not too sure on how he goes. But Gaming Wafer, as we just saw, took pole position. So he's off to a nice start for ART Grand Prix. And obviously the reserve driver is False Equations. BRT Arden is Aussie Suspect to Lunacy. In the Campos team, as we just read out before, Big Dong and BKXI round out that grid with Alex in the reserve seat. Toadrudy and Zach Crichton, really strong grouping there for the Carlin team. And then they obviously have James Cruz in the reserve team. And then Dams has Breno and Pure Gold with Toto22 as their reserve driver. Do you want to read out the rest of the grid there for us, Curving?
Sure thing. So, MP Motorsport, Dan the Racer 99 and VSR Roscoe Arm with Val Beast in the reserve. The Prema team has Dr. Dre 3000 and Plevs in that car with Bodhod as their reserve. Sauber Junior team, Crossy F1 and Jay Schmidt with Pencil as their reserve. At the Trident team, Very Angry Sidepod and Spilly with Gold Gloves as their reserve. And the Uni Virtuosi team of Kickbutt Kiwi and Toddster 99 with the Rock F1 as their reserve.
So that is your PS4 Formula 2 Pacific Series driver lineup. But as you can see now on your screens, that's the wrong button. There you go. As you can see now on your screens, the drivers are heading out for their formation lap around the Sakia circuit. Obviously, it is in the daytime as well, as the F2s do race. They don't actually race under lights. So this isn't really natural for a lot of the drivers, as the majority of Bahrain races that they will do on this game is under lights. So it could be a little bit different for them, but I'm not too sure how much it would affect how the grip works on the track. We'll have to see how they go. Obviously, as we pointed out, it is two 50% races, 16 laps in this first race. I believe it is the feature race first up, and then the second race will be the sprint race where the top 8 are reversed. So we'll have to see how that goes. We'll have to see if GameWave is able to convert his pole over. But let's get your top 3 predictions here, CurvingTexas. Who do you reckon is going to win the opening race of the PS4 Formula 2 Pacific Series?
Well, strong showing by Wafer there in qualifying. He looks like he does have a lot of pace. Led most of that lap and looked pretty tidy as well. Schmidt obviously starting second, but I think you'll see a couple of people. I think BKXI will come through and make up a few positions. Obviously, Zach Crichton there, starting on the mediums. He did qualify on the mediums as well, which, by the looks of it, obviously you can pick whatever tyre after qualifying, because everyone in front of him was on the softs, and we've got 4 cars in front of him on the mediums now. So, not sure whether he's just put himself out of position there with that. But yeah, I think Gaming Wafer, Schmidt, and I think you'll see a good battle for the third spot. BK, Toddy, Spilly, all going to be close here, but it's a matter of what they can do with this strategy. There's a few different runners there. Yeah, how about yourself?
I reckon Gaming Wafer, I reckon he'll win the opening round of the race. I reckon Schmidt will be there as well. I reckon it'll be tight between Gaming Wafer and Schmidt. We'll have to see how those two go. I'm going to apologise in advance. I'm not too familiar with the colours of the cars either, especially considering that on the left they're sometimes different to what the actual colour of the car is. So if I do get them wrong, I do apologise at first. But obviously we need to point out the two drivers on the front row are starting on different tyres. Jay Schmidt on the mediums and the Gaming Wafer is on the soft tyre. So I wouldn't be surprised if Gaming Wafer gets a better start here, as he is on that soft compounded tyre. But it could come to Jay Schmidt. So I believe this is actually the feature race here first up, so they will need to make a pit stop in this first Grand Prix here around Bahrain. But now we're waiting for the light sequence to begin. On board with our current pole position man of Gaming Wafer, waiting for that light sequence as it is now starting to show up. 5 red lights for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and we are underway. A very quick start there, and it looks like Gaming Wafer gets a very nice start, as we said before, obviously starting on that soft compounded tyre, and he's having to defend from Schmidt from the inside line. He's going to try and hang it around there though. Is Schmidt around the outside, heading into turn 1 on the medium compounded tyre, so he could be hurt a little bit here. He's been forced out wide, and that's the Terzi driver there of Todster running out wide. He got pushed out, I believe, by BK, but now they run into turn 3. It looks like Wafer leads away. He's having to defend the inside line from Spilly and Schmidt as they head side by side, and it looks like Schmidt trying to hang it around the outside again, hanging through turn 3, and he's pushed out wide by Gaming Wave, and not much room was left there. But now Spilly trying to slot down the inside, heading into turn 4. Does he get the move done? He does. Actually ghosts a little bit there, so Jay Schmidt looks like he'll hold on to P2, and they're still side by side, heading into turn 7. Who's going to get that job done? Spilly, I believe, may get it done because he is on that softer tire. And it does, and he makes contact now with Jay Schmidt there. Did Spilly? He's dropped massive positions here. BK and Pure Gold now up a spot into P3 and P4. So it's a very hectic start here. And it looks like Toddster is coming under threat from Zach Crine behind, and he doesn't get it done. Zach's got a very poor run now down in P7. He's going to be put around the outside by Crossy. There's a massive clusterfuck at the back here between Dr. Dre, Kickbutt Kiwi, Plebs, and everyone here. As you can see, all these F2 cars going down the back straight. Obviously, there's 2 DRS zones available around the Sakia circuit. One on the main front straight. Actually, there's 3 DRS zones. I apologize. One on the main front straight. One on the straight we just went past, and then obviously heading on the run to turn 3. But it looks like they're the Viterci of Kickbutt Kiwi and Dr. Dre going at it. This is
we've had a spin in the back there. We've had a spin. Iceman has spun and made contact with side pod. Apart from that, I think there's been a little bit of front wing damage to one of the cars. I didn't quite see which one out of the 2 of them.
We're getting move back to the lead though, because look at this, BK now up into P3 for Campos. He's doing a ripper job at the start here. I'm not too sure where he started. I believe he started out of the top 5, so he's done a very nice job. But now Pure Gold, fortunately we've got a very poor camera angle here, but it looks like Pure Gold now goes up into P3. Spilly also gets the move done on BK, so he got absolutely swamped into turn 1 there, did the Campos driver. So unfortunately he went from P3 on the straight, and now he's actually going to get overtaken by the looks of it by Toddster. He's going to go down the inside on the Campos driver, and will he get it done heading into turn 3? Yes, he does. So now the Viterci driver up into P5. BK now has Zach Crine right behind him, and Zach will not stuff around. He will want to get back up a couple of positions. He did start, I believe, P9 if I'm correct, so he's up into P7, so he's up 2 spots already. So he's had a pretty decent start. Toddy right on the rear of Spilly as they head into the second sector.
Yeah, we've had a couple of big movers. Pure Gold here up 4 spots from his group position. He's jumped Spilly, Toddster and BK. Plebs has made up 6 spots off the grid, so he's up to 11 from 17th. But yeah, Gaming Wafer and Schmidt have made a bit of a break here, so it'll be interesting to see if Pure Gold can pull himself away from this group, or whether there'll be more battles and whether someone else can get through to the front of it.
So obviously this is the little battle that we were talking about at the beginning of the race between Gaming Wafer and Jay Schmidt. They are pretty close to each other still, 0.6 of a second separate those two. DRS is available in the Formula 2 cars as well, so if Schmidt can stay within that 1 second to Gaming Wafer in front of him, he may be in contention here for the potential lead. Obviously they are on different tyre compounds, so this will only be favouring Schmidt if anything, as he is actually doing a pretty good job at the moment too. Be sticking with Gaming Wafer considering he's on that medium tyre, and you can see Gaming Wafer now goes faster by quickly taken away by Schmidt with a 43.3, so Schmidt's doing a really good job here, as I just said, keeping with Gaming Wafer, but it looks like a couple moves have been made at the back here. It looks like that is Big Donga now making a move on Crossy F1. Heading into turn 1, he now heads and he gets the move done up in a P8, and that looks like it is the Prema of Plebs also trying to make a move. He's got around the outside there of Toes Rudy into P9, so P10 he now goes. He has Crossy in front of him now. Does Plebs. He's going to use the Esports line heading into turn 3. Crossy's a little bit too far in front for him to make a move this time around.
Spilly's also just moved himself up into 3rd spot on those soft tyres, so he'll be looking to break away from this pack for a bit while they're still the better tyre.
Oh, he's made contact there. So Spilly and Pure Gold just made contact there. It looked like Spilly just got a little bit of oversteer on the exit of that left-hander before they headed into the hairpin. So unfortunately there, he made contact with Pure Gold, and now Toddster has moved himself up at a P4. He's been spun now by Pure Gold. Toddster has been absolutely rear-ended by Pure Gold there, so he may be in a little bit of trouble here. Well, Pure Gold, so Zach Crine now is going to take full advantage of this. He's now up into P5. BK, I think, also made contact with Toddster as well. He could potentially have front wing damage, and Toddster down the inside of Zach Crine. He's trying to hang it there. Obviously, these cars have nowhere near as much grip as a Formula 1 car, so it is completely different to drive, but it looks like Zach Crine's going to hold on to P6 here. Toddster holding on to P5. And who's that going down the inside? That's Crossy on BKXI. Does he get it done? He does by the looks of it. So he gets ahead of Big Donga and BKXI. So I think he may have had a double move there, did Crossy. I'm not too sure. But Plebs looks like in the Premier. He's trying to get a move done on BK now, heading into the final corner. They all lock up. It's very easy to lock up in these cars as well. And now Crossy pushes Big Donga wide. He's not going to be happy with that. And they're going to run side by side, heading down the main straight. Plebs goes back into the slipstream of the Campos. And they're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. Looks like they're going to do it. It's going to be a Campos. And I believe that is a Trident car. I'm not too sure, I always get that wrong, but they're going to go 3 wide into turn 1, and it looks like Crossy's going to get the job done, and now Big Donga got the under and over. He's going to hang it around the outside through turn 2. He is. So now Donga back up into P7. Very good battle here for the, or trying to get himself into the top 10. Oh, who's that BK down the inside on 2 drivers? He nearly got that pulled up. He nearly got that. Yeah.
Bit of argy-budgy, there we go.
Oh, massive crash.
Oh my god. A complete barrel roll there by Kick Butt Kiwi. Looks to have escaped with not much damage and he's still going there, so...
So did he barrel roll?
Yeah, complete barrel roll.
Okay, yeah, I was on board PK, I didn't see any of that. Jesus, okay. Okay.
3 wide coming out of the corner, and I think it was contact with Breno and might have been Roscoe, and it was just a complete barrel roll, landed on his wheels, and he just drove off.
So unfortunately, we can't really talk about strategy here because I have absolutely no idea what the go is with the F2 tires. I'm not too sure if you do. I have no idea what the...
I don't know how long they're going to last, and I don't know what's going to end up being, you know, whether an undercut is going to give you a really good time here or...
Exactly, but actually we haven't talked about this. Schmidt into the lead of the Grand Prix, so we've missed this little battle here. So Gaming Wafer has been pushed back down to P2, and now Schmidt on the medium tyre has got himself into the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. So Gaming Wafer really struggling here. He obviously did start on pole position for the opening round, so Schmidt's looking really good here if he can hold on to the lead, and obviously he'll be staying out for a lot longer than what Gaming Wafer will be, considering they are on different tyres. But Zach Ryan did just go fastest there. He now has his eyes on Pure Gold in front of him. This is for the battle of P4, but now it looks like a couple more moves are being made because drivers are in the pits. Big Donga down the inside on Crossy F1 heading into turn 1. Does he hang it around the outside through turn 2? He does. So now up into P7 goes the Campos driver. But I'm going to swap this over now to pit stop so you can see who has made a pit stop. It looks like Plebs, Iceman, Toes Rudy, and BKXI are all into the pit lane. So they are trying to get off that soft compounded tyre. So that could give us a little indicator now to when the soft tyre runners will be coming into the pits. Obviously, the sprint race that will be up next will not have any pit stops in it. So I believe it's only 10 laps. It's 10 or 11 laps from memory is the sprint race. So they will not need to make a pit stop. I think they will go onto the mediums, if I'm correct. That will get you easily to the end, but that'll be an interesting race. But also another point out for the sprint race will be the top 8 will be reverse. So Crossy F1 at the moment will be on pole position for the next race. So this could spice a few things up here with a couple more of the faster drivers at the front in the mid pack. So a couple more incidents could potentially happen at this stage. Obviously, it's been very action-packed so far at the beginning of this Grand Prix, and we're only on lap 5, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Yes, and just as we were talking there, unfortunately, Breno has disconnected, so he's driving around as an AI. Hopefully, he can get back.
Yeah, so unfortunately for the Dams driver, he is going to be dropping spots left, right, and center. He's down in P11 at the moment, but his AI car's not the fastest, and I believe SidePod is the first driver now to get himself a penalty in this race. 3 seconds will be added.
Also did get one as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so SidePod and Aussie Suspect both have a 3-second time penalty, and it looks like now Zach Crichton's actually making a move on Pure Gold. Heading into turn 1, the Carlin driver now gets up the inside of the Dams driver of Pure Gold, and he gets the move done, but he looks like he's going to try and fight it back, and Zach Crichton, a lot of oversteer on the curb there on the exit of turn 2. Will Pure Gold dive back down the inside? He's got a very nice run. He's not using DRS though, so I don't think he's trying to make a move here at the moment as Pure Gold. I think he may just try and stick with the Carlin driver in front of him. Obviously, these guys are all on medium tyres, so they will be running a little bit longer into the race compared to the others. I'm surprised Gaming Wave is still out, to be honest. I thought he would have pitted that lap.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. A few of the soft runners have stayed out, and you can definitely see he was under a second before, and even with that DRS, he's dropped down to 1.6 seconds behind Schmidt now, and it's... I don't know if it's going to cost him that he stayed out too late here.
So obviously, they only majority of the drivers only last around 5-6 laps on those soft compounded tyres, so it's going to give us a little indicator when the medium runners will be pitting. I reckon around lap 10-ish, I reckon they'll start to dive into the pit lane, but obviously at the moment, Toes Rudy, BK, Aussie Suspect, Plez, Breno, Iceman, Dr. Dre, and Big Donga are the only drivers that have made a pit stop so far. Very Angry SidePod is now spun round on the exit of the right-hander, and unfortunately for him, he's going to be losing a lot of time here. He's got 5 seconds now between himself and Dan the Racer in front. It's actually way more, 16 seconds, I believe. So unfortunately for him, his race hasn't been the best. I believe he did have that little incident at the start of the race. I think you pointed out curving. So I'm not too sure who it was with. Anyway, it looks... they now start lap 7 of 16. Does Wafer come in the pits? He does. So now we are seeing the soft tyre runners come into the pit lane. Zach Crichton stays out, obviously, on the medium tyre. So does Pure Gold and Tots up. Looks like Tots is going to try and go down the inside here on Pure Gold into turn 1. I think Pure Gold may have just let him go there. I don't think... Yeah, he did lift off the throttle, definitely there did Harrison. So, unfortunately...
Zach Crichton started lock up as well.
And he's got a 3-second penalty now, Zach. So this is really going to hurt him here, especially if especially on the mediums, because he's not going to be able to pull away from anyone at the moment. He's going to have to wait till he gets on the softs, and Todster nearly rear-ended Zach Crichton there heading into turn 3. And now Todster nearly loses it in the Vitersi car, just keeps it on track. So nice car control there from Todster. This is the battle for P2 on track at the moment. I believe the first of the pit stoppers is actually Big Dongo, so he's down in P11 at the moment. Actually, no, Gaming Wafer. He's into P8 now, so he has 15 seconds between himself and Talunacy. So it's looking very tidy at the moment for the Grand Prix. It's obviously going to be even tighter in the sprint race because no one needs to make a pit stop. It's going to be down to who can manage the tyres the best.
Yeah, obviously all the mediums should last, what we can see, at least 10 laps. Hoping obviously at least 12 laps, because some people came in on the end of that 4th lap there just to get rid of those softs. But it's looking like the mediums are the better tyre in the long run here. I don't think the softs had too much of an advantage off the grid. So
Schmidt's doing a really good job here at the moment. He's got 6.7 seconds between himself and Zach Crichton. We'll have to see if he does start to close that in to Zach. But thank you everyone for joining the stream as well. Welcome Bodhod, Colin Perry, Kart Racer, Lockstar. Thank you guys so much for joining. Sharky. Thank you everyone for joining round 1 of the PS4 Formula 2 Pacific Series. Been a great start so far. We're only 8 laps in and it's been very hectic already. And Big Donga now is making a move on side pod by the looks of it. Actually, he's got the move done, so I think side pod may have made another little error in his car. So unfortunately for him, the Campos driver now moves up into P10. So Donga obviously cannot get caught behind anyone. He has made his pit stop, so he doesn't really want to get caught behind someone and burn up his tyres real quick. He has Spilly next in front, 5.6 seconds separate those two. But I reckon still around 2 more laps and we'll see Jay Schmidt and Zach Crichton, Todster, Pure Gold and all those medium runners into the pits, I reckon, around lap 10.
Yeah, I agree there. I think probably will try and see him not lose too much time once these medium tyres start to fall off. One thing I have noticed, obviously, is that the pit stops are a lot longer than your regular F1 pit stop. So the gaps you might see, you might think that Gaming Wafer is way too far off the lead, considering you know, pitted from behind Schmidt. But it'll be interesting to see where it all evens out.
So I believe in F2 pit stops, there's only one tyre guy on each tyre. So there's not 3, where there's normally one guy holding the gun, one guy taking the tyre off, and one guy putting the tyre on. There's only one person doing all that job, all the work. So there's a lot of pressure on each of the pit crew men to get the tyres on and off real quick. So that's why the pit stops are a little longer than Formula 1. So it is completely different, as we said, to what Formula 1 is. The grip, the way the car handles as well. You can normally run or hold the brake on a lot longer into corners as well, especially when you run no ABS. But it looks like Todster now on Zach Crichton. Down the inside goes the Vitersi driver on the Carlin car. Down the inside he goes and he gets the job done into P2 now. Goes Todster. Zach's trying to fight it back though. He's right on the rear gearbox of that Vitersi in front of him. Does he try and fight it though? Zach's he's not opening his DRS, so I think he's not trying to fight here with Todster. They're going to try and pull away, and it doesn't look like they're actually catching up now to Jay Schmidt. It's still around that 6.9 second mark, but he nearly loses it again there, does Zach. But Spilly now goes fastest with a 1 minute 42.4, so this could be good here for Spilly, considering he was battling for this second, or around this P2 area at the start of the Grand Prix, so he may be able to jump a couple of cars here if he's going that quick. But on board with Dan the Races, he now heads the final corner. So I don't believe any drivers have actually gone a lap down as of yet, so they're all doing pretty good, and there seems to be a battle pack everywhere you look. So it's very tight here at the moment for the PS4 Formula 2 Pacific Series. As we said as well, it is fixed setup, so there's absolutely no parity between any of these drivers for sides. Like, you could probably say the assists would help you a little bit in some ways, but that's literally the only thing that's different in these cars. Everything is all fixed. The cars are all equal, the setups are all equal, so it is completely down to how the driver drives the car. But still 6.9 seconds between Schmidt and Todster. Does he pit this lap? I wouldn't be surprised if he actually pits this lap, because he won't obviously qualify on the soft. He didn't obviously qualify on the tyres that he will be going on to, so they normally will last a little bit longer, but he stays out for an extra lap, so I definitely think he'll be pitting this lap. Will Schmidt, but Todster, actually no, who's that in? Zach Crichton.
That's Zach in.
Yes, so Zach now into the pit lane. for
When
Carlins.
Harrison follows, but he's got a speeding and pit lane penalty there.
So unfortunately there for the Dams driver, he has now got himself a 5-second stop-go penalty, so he will have to serve. He won't serve that in this pit stop, but as you can see on your screen, there's obviously one pit crew on each tyre, so it's much slower than what it normally is in a Formula 1 pit stop. And it looks like Zach Crichton's going to hold on to that position ahead of Pure Gold. Spilly's still going fastest at the moment, so he's definitely going to jump Zach and Pure Gold here. It's going to be tight between himself and the Gaming Wafer as well. He's actually starting to catch up now with Spilly. 2.4 separate himself and the Gaming Wafer. Obviously, Gaming Wafer is provisionally leading this Grand Prix at the moment, as he is the first driver that has made a pit stop. VSR Roscoe and Lunacy are still out as well. They're at 14 spots at the moment as Roscoe, so he's doing a really good job for MP Motorsport. Hopefully, I'm not too sure when he'll be pitting. I think he'll most likely be following what Jay Schmidt, Toddster and Crossy do, but I think what Zach and Pure Gold were trying to do there, maybe even trying to undercut Toddster to get ahead of him and the exit of the pit stops, or the end of the pit stops.
Yeah, you'll definitely see Toddster in at the end of this lap to cover that undercut, because he's not going to want to fall behind for track position there, I'd say.
So he's heading to the penultimate corner now. It's Toddster, he nearly loses it there, did the Vitersi driver. So the rear end on that car doesn't really seem to be as stable as I think you would like to, but yeah, if you want to continue on, sorry, I interrupted you.
The leader, you're all good. The leader has come in, Jay Schmidt, for his pit stop.
Toddster follows him. So will we see Crossy? I think Crossy will follow him in as well, just to cover it.
He's not going to have to, no, because they'll have to double stack, so he's
no,
going to
that's
stay
right,
out
yeah.
because he's Schmidt's teammate.
I forgot about that. It's unfortunate for Crossy. This is really going to hurt him here. He's not going to get the... who's this staying out? Roscoe I'm staying out as well, so... He's following Crossy here, is Roscoe, so I'm not too sure how this is going to go for them. We'll have to see, but... Obviously, Schmidt's now exiting the pit lane. He'll be on the softer compounded tyre compared to the Gaming Wafer, who's now coming down the front main straight. I think Wafer's going to get it. Actually, no, Schmidt's going to get it, I reckon.
Close.
It's going to be close. They're going to go side by side into turn one. Gaming Wafer on the outside. Schmidt, obviously, deep under brakes, and it looks like Schmidt's overcooked the corner on the cold tyres. He wasn't able to pull it up, and they nearly made contact there between the Gaming Wafer and Jay Schmidt. They're going to... Gaming Wafer's going to have DRS here because he was behind Schmidt on the run into turn one. So Schmidt around the outside now on cold tyres. Obviously, they're a lot softer than the Gaming Wafers, but he's going to be pushed out wide there. Where Schmidt and Gaming Wafer now moves himself into the provisional lead of the Grand Prix, but I don't think Schmidt will let this one go. Obviously, he's on the softer compounded tyre, so he'll be much quicker compared to Gaming Wafer. Does he dive down the inside here? He doesn't, so it's going to be tight here for the win of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, and this is all just falling into place for Spilly here on his mediums. Obviously the same amount of wear on him as what Gaming Wafers should be. But he's under 2 seconds now, so this is going to get really close, I reckon. If Schmidt can't find a way past and pull away, it's going to be very interesting.
Obviously, we're still waiting for Crossy and VSR Roscoe to make a pit stop still, so I'm trying to remember now. Hopefully this is still up on my screen. So Roscoe is in the MP Motorsports car, and Crossy and Schmidt are in the Sauber, so I'll try and remember that. So the Sauber driver of Crossy now comes into the pit lane. Does he speed? He nearly does. He does actually speed in the end, so he was locked up for quite a while there trying to stop the car, but unfortunately for himself, he's got himself a speeding penalty. So that's going to hurt him towards the end of the race. Roscoe does manage to slow it down for the MP Motorsports team. Gaming Wafer now will come down the start, finish straight, and look who's right behind him. Jay Schmidt now right under the gearbox of Gaming Wafers. They now head into turn one, side by side for the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Zach Crichton goes fast, so he is starting to catch up now, but now it looks like Schmidt moves himself into the lead quite comfortably heading into the braking zone of turn one. You can see those brake discs glowing. He nearly loses it. He's rally crossing this through the first sector, and he's not really got the ideal grip still, ideal heat in those tyres, so will Wafer be able to fight it back? He defends the inside line there to Schmidt. Will he be able to hold the inside line? Obviously on that softer tyre. Gaming Wafer trying to do the under and over. He will swap to the inside line if he can pull it off, but no, unfortunately Schmidt on that soft compounded tyre will just be able to have that little bit more cornering grip compared to Gaming Wafer, so now he'll move himself, or probably hold on to the lead of the Grand Prix here. I think Gaming Wafer may start to have a threat of Spilly behind him, so I have to see if Spilly's able to catch up. But then also Zach Crichton, I believe, is starting to catch up to all three of these guys in front, so we'll have to see.
He's bringing Toddster as well.
He is, so Toddster is in that DRS and slipstream of the Carlin in front of him, so they'll probably be working together here. Zach does not have DRS obviously on Spilly yet. He's got a second he's got to make up to catch up or to get within the DRS range. Toddster is just holding station at the moment behind that Carlin car. Pure Gold in P6 ahead of Crossy in P7 for Sauber. Then it is Big Dong in P8, VSR Roscoe Arm in P9. This is where he came out in P9 by the looks of it, did Roscoe Arm. And then behind him will be the other Vitersi driver of Kickbutt Kiwi in P10. Then it will be the two Pramers of Plebs and Dr. Dre. Iceman in P13 ahead of the Campos of BK in 14-15. The Arden of Aussie Suspect, who's coming under pressure now from Breno, who's going to go down the inside of the Arden car now, moves himself up into P15, does Breno. Obviously, the point system in this championship is the same as F1. Top 10 in the Grand Prix obviously get points, and you also get an extra 4 points, I believe, for qualifying on pole position. So that really does help you when it comes to qualifying on pole. So my English right now is not really good. I don't know why. The words aren't coming out of my mouth. I'm thinking of them, but they're just not coming out. But anyway, Lunacy is now getting under pressure from Toes Rudy. They're going to go side by side. Actually, not Lunacy, Aussie Suspect rather. So now Toes Rudy in the Carlin car's now got himself up into P17. I believe he got caught up with Sidepod at the beginning of the race. So unfortunately for Sidepod, we haven't seen that as well. He is the first retirement from the Grand Prix. But now Aussie down the inside on Toes Rudy. But he did mount that curb, unfortunately. So that did unsettle the car and exit, and he got a lot of wheel spin. So it looks like Toes Rudy is now going to be in a Arden sandwich here. He has Lunacy and Aussie Suspect behind him. Lunacy runs a little bit wide there through turn 3. So that might hurt him down the straight, but it's not close enough at the moment. It's Toes Rudy. Dan the Racer running a pretty lonely P19 at the moment, as we just point out. Very angry side pod. The first retirement of the Grand Prix and the first retirement in the season. So unfortunately, he won't be scoring any points this afternoon. But they now, coming towards the end of lap 13, about to start lap 14, is your prediction changed at all, Curving? I reckon Jay Schmidt still... No, I reckon Jay Schmidt's going to win.
Schmidt is definitely on. He's pulling away here and making it. The one that's making the moves at the moment is Toddster. He's moved past Zach Crichton into 4th spot, and he's pulling in Spilly. It's down to half a second, so it is working out for both of them. But obviously, Zach Crichton does have 6 seconds worth of penalties, from what I believe.
So, Toddster, Zach Crichton, and Pure Gold are all on the soft compounder tyre, and unfortunately for Spilly, he's on the medium, so... It looks like Totsa may even get a move done here into turn 1. He's going to be in the slipstream. DRS available to him, and he goes down the inside. He sets a fastest lap as well, so that will get him an extra point. He was getting a very nice toe down the main straight there from Spilly, but now he moves himself into the podium placings. So now he has Gaming Wafer in front of him. He's having to defend the inside line here. It's Totsa. Will he be able to hold on to it? It looks like he is. So I think the smart thing for Spilly would be here is just to try and sit within the slipstream of Totsa and try and catch up to the Gaming Wafer. Obviously, Wafer is on the medium tyre as well. So Totsa could be on for a good result here. He's got 2 laps remaining. Sorry, well, 3 laps remaining if you count this one in the Grand Prix. So he may be able to potentially get himself onto the second step of the podium here.
Big lock up there. Yeah, Toddy's just had a big lock up there into the hairpin, but I definitely agree with that. I think Spilly should play it safe and sit behind Todster here. I think that's his best chance to try and get the Gaming Wafer. They've got 2.5 laps left of the Grand Prix.
Well, Spilly,
bit of weaving going on
exactly.
here.
I was just going to point it
here. Trying to lose the toe.
Yeah, so you're only allowed to make one move. You can defend your line and your slipstream, but you're not allowed to move back. So you can make one maneuver. If in Gaming Wafer's instance, he's allowed to pull to the left, but he wasn't really supposed to pull to the right. So the stewards will have one eye kept on that car to make sure he doesn't do that again. We'll have to see what he does down this straight, but Tots is definitely catching up to him here. As you can see, that gap's already down to 0.7 of a second, so he will have DRS this time round on the Gaming Wafer. Schmidt has 3 seconds in front, but he's obviously on the soft tyre, so I don't think Tots will be able to catch up to him. I think the smart thing for Schmidt here would just be to drive to a lap time and not really push too hard and just make sure you don't get a time penalty. I believe he doesn't have any at this stage, but he can afford a 3-second penalty at the moment and still be alright.
Both Wafer and Todster both have 2 warnings. Schmidt looking pretty fine out front. He's got 1 warning. Spilly on 2 warnings as well. So it's a matter of staying in the track limits but trying to get an overtake done. Because the last thing you want is to pick up a penalty.
Look at this, Todster now trying to go around the outside of Spilly. Sorry, not Spilly, Gaming Wafer heading into turn 3. Does the Gaming Wafer push him out wide? He does, and I think they actually made contact there. So does Tots have any wing damage? I definitely made contact. He does lock up the inside tyre there, but I don't think he has any damage on that Vitersi car, but I don't think he'll be too happy with that. Gaming Wafer did move a couple of times again, heading down that straight, and as you can see, it's pretty much pushing him here, is Todd, so he's not going to be happy with Gaming Wafer and the amount of times he's moving, but Zach Crichton's now really caught up to the back of this train. He's now right on the rear of Spilly as they head into this double left-hander. Very easy to lock the inside front, as we pointed out a couple of times. This is another DRS zone here. As you can see, Gaming Wafer is now allowed to defend his inside line as he is doing. But he's not supposed to pull back to the right like that. He could be in a bit of trouble here. And he makes contact now. Does Todster and Gaming Wafer side? Not too sure. Does Todster have any wing damage? But he's really going to get annoyed here now as Todd says. Now Zach Crine and Spilly. Spilly's gone. I think him and Zach Crine made contact there. So I think that's why Todster made contact with Gaming Wafer. I think Zach may have hit the back of Spilly. And now, unfortunately for him, Zach Crine's now got himself up in a P4 and Pure Gold up in a P5. So I'm not too sure what's happened though.
I didn't quite catch what happened. I did see them all bunch up into that corner under braking there. But here we go. Wafer's moved out. He's trying to block this toe from Todster. I'd say we'll see a move.
This is the final lap as well. So now Gaming Wafer on the inside line. Sorry, Todster around the outside. Who holds on to the position? Does Wafer push him out wide? No, he doesn't. So Todster's going to have the inside line. They make contact. So Gaming Wafer's come across and now Toddy, 3-second penalty. He is not going to be happy at all. And now Zach Crine trying to go around the outside of both these cars. Could this be a double maneuver here from Zach Crine? He's trying to get it done at 3 wide. Heading into turn 3. They make all contact there. And now Todster up into P2 for the Grand Prix. What a move there. They went 3 wide heading into turn 3. And Todster obviously picked up a 3-second penalty as well. But I'm 99% sure he'll be able to get that removed, to be honest. So Gaming Wafer, I believe, may even, I'm pretty certain he will be getting a penalty here. He's been moving a lot, multiple times down the straight to defend the slipstream. So I think Zach Crine may even get the move done here, unless he does have damage after that little contact heading into turn 3. I wouldn't be surprised if he does, but Schmidt now 5.1 seconds he has between himself and Todster behind. But Toddy looks like he's going to take home P2 here.
That's not quite close enough here either.
So at this stage as well, we need to point out, Big Dong is going to start on pole position for the sprint race. Crossy will be in P2 ahead of Spilly, Pure Gold, Zach, Gaming Wafer, Todster, and Schmidt will be in P8. So unfortunately fortunately actually for Todster, if he gets a penalty here, which he does, he has a 3-second penalty, this will move him down the order a little bit here. So this could actually help him, considering he will get this penalty removed, I'm pretty sure. So he will get points here for P2, but I believe he's going to drop behind Zach Crine and Gaming Wafer. So this will start him up a little bit further for the next race. But Schmidt does take the win here in the opening round of the PS4 Formula 2 Pacific Series. Congratulations to him. He will take home 25 points, I believe. I think it works like that. I'm not 100% sure. I'll quickly check for you while we're swapping between the races. But Gaming Wafer will come home P2, but I believe he'll be getting himself a penalty here this afternoon. Todster will definitely be promoted up to P2. Spilly gets himself up in a P4 now. Zach Crine, I forgot about that. He did have a couple of penalties there, did the Carlin driver. So he's dropped back down to P5. P6 Pure Gold ahead of Crossy, Big Donga, who will start on pole position for the sprint race. Kickbutt Kiwi in P9 and rounding out your top 10. Up 8 spots in the end as well will be VSR Roscom. So he's done a very good job there. Great drive there from himself in that MP car. Plebs will come home P11, up 6 spots. P12 will be Iceman CS13. P13 chose Rudy for Carlin ahead of Dr. Dre, BK to Lunacy, Aussie Suspect, and then I believe it was Dan the Racer. So pretty eventful opening race here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. So this is going to be a tight one. Big Donga starting on pole position. So we'll have to see how that goes into turn 1. We'll quickly have a look to see who is going to be alongside him. But congratulations to the podium getters here. And congratulations to Sauber on taking home the first win of the season.
Yeah, he started on those medium tyres, and it definitely worked out to be the better strategy there. So, well-deserved win for him. Very, very dominant. After getting past fairly early, even on those mediums. I think it was the 4th lap he passed him. But yeah, just able to break away, and then obviously got the move done after the pit stops as well and pulled away. But very clean race. I can't say he put a foot wrong.
Yeah, so Schmidt takes the win. He will take home 25 points. So it is, I believe it is the same point system. Actually, no, it's not the same point system as Formula 1, but it is 25 points for the win.
Did have the fastest lap, so
he'll take home an extra 2 points. Yes, he will. Yes, it is 2 points for fast lap. So the points system is a little bit different to Formula 1, but Gaming Wafer will come home P2, but he does have a massive question mark next to his name. Obviously, he has an extra 4 points there from qualifying on pole position. Todster will come home P3 ahead of Spilly, Zach Crime, Pure Gold, Crossy, Big Donga, Kickbutt Kiwi, and Roscoe rounds out your top 10. But we're now going to let the drivers head over to the grid for the sprint race. We'll be back with you shortly. So as you can see now, the drivers are pulling away from the grid for the sprint race. Obviously, as we pointed out before, Big Donga will start on pole position for Campos ahead of Crossy F1 in P2. Obviously, the top 8 from the feature race before had been reversed, so Big Donga will start on pole position as he did finish in P8, Crossy P2, P3, Pure Gold, P4, Zach Crichton. So he's actually got up to P4 here, Zach Crichton. I'm not too sure if he's just overtaken someone.
With those penalties.
Oh, yes, that's right. He did too, so Zach Crichton will get himself up in a P4.
Position, I think.
So unfortunately for Spilly, he's been disqualified from the formation lap here. I don't think it was actually his fault, because there were people going 3 wide into turn 1, so I'm not too sure what's happening there. But Pure Gold will start on the second row alongside Zach Crichton. Spilly in P5 alongside Toddster in P6. P7 will be the Gaming Wafer, and race 1 winner of the season, Jay Schmidt, will start from P8 alongside the Gaming Wafer, who did start on pole position for the opening round of the season as well. Kickbutt Kiwi will start in P9. So from 9th downwards, this is where everyone finished in the feature race. So Kickbutt Kiwi finished in P9 in the feature race, and he will start P9 for this race. Roscoe Arms started P10, so finished P10, and he will start P10. Plebs in P11, P12, Iceman ahead of Toes Rudy, Dr. Dre, who unfortunately has been put back onto the grid. He will not be able to participate in the formation lap. BKXI in P15, P16 to Lunacy ahead of his teammate, Aussie Suspect in P17, Dan the Race at 18th, P19th, Breno for Dams, and rounding out grid will be Very Angry Side Pod for Trident in P20. So, again, let's go back over this. Who do you reckon is going to win this Grand Prix? It's obviously going to be tight because a couple of the faster drivers are at the rear of the grid, but we obviously have Zach Crichton and Pure Gold starting on the second row, so this could be a tight little battle here for the win of the Grand Prix.
There is a few that I reckon with this new track position compared to where they were last race. We've got Crossy there, who had a decent race as well. Pitted very late, obviously, because he didn't want to double stack with Jay Schmidt. So I think he'll have a good race here from the front of the grid. Zach starting in 4th, always quick on these first laps, making up positions, finding any gap he can to get past. So it'll be interesting to see here whether we see the same sort of front pack jump through and pull away early, or whether it's completely different from what we saw before.
As you can see now, the drivers are forming up on the grid, just waiting for Very Angry Side Pod to slot into his grid spot. Let me know some live predictions in the chat as well. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream. As I said before, if you guys are new around here, please do hit that subscribe button. Be much appreciated. Thank you guys so much as well for 500 subscribers on the Race Spec channel. It's been a massive achievement over the last couple of months, so thank you guys so much. As you can see, the light sequence is now beginning for the sprint race in Bahrain. 5 red lights, and we are underway. Big Donga looks like he gets a very nice start there, but unfortunately he's got a massive amount of wheel spin. Crossy and Pure Gold are going to go alongside them, heading into turn 1. Will Zach make it 4 wide? He is. So it's going to be 4 wide into turn 1 now. It's actually swapped to 3 whackers. Big Donga did back out of it, and they made contact there. Big Donga rear-ending the back of Crossy F1, but look who moves into the lead from the second row of the grid. Actually, Pure Gold was in the lead, but now Zach barges his way up into the lead of the Grand Prix. So he leads into turn 3 now. Pure Gold in P2, Crossy 3rd, and now Tots is making a move now down the inside of Crossy F1. Will he be able to get it done? All these drivers on the medium tyre as well. So it looks like Crossy is going to hold on to P3. Spilly down the inside now. Tots heading into the chicane. He's been barged out wide. Then they make contact again, and now Tots is round. End of the Tasty drive. Unfortunately for him, there's a lot of runoff area, so he wasn't put into the wall. But he's going to drop all the way to the rear of the grid now is Toddster. So, unfortunately for him, he's down in P20. So, Spilly will hold on to P4. So, those two have been banging side pods all weekend, has Toddster and Spilly. So, we'll have to see where Toddy's able to recover to. He's behind Dan the Racer at the moment. But Big Donga's went from 1st to 5th in about 2 sectors. So, unfortunately for him, he hasn't had the best of starts. Jay Schmidt in P6. P7 is Plebs. And Roscoe Arms already up into P8. So, himself and BK's actually have a couple of spots as well. He started P15.
Big mover.
So, BK's up in a P9 already. So, he's done a really good job. He's just stayed out of trouble in the opening laps of the Grand Prix. But now Zach Crichton leads away at the moment as he now heads into the final corner of the Sakir International Circuit. Locks up the inside front just a little bit there, but 12 laps around the Bahrain Grand Prix circuit. So this could be a little bit of a struggle for the drivers, managing 12 laps on the medium. So they're going to have to do a little bit of tyre saving here. There's yellow flag in sector 3. Who's that Iceman?
Spun coming out of the last corner there. Stayed clean of everyone else, so no contact involved between any of the other drivers. So
So I'm going to interrupt you.
Normal right there.
I'm going to interrupt you here. Sorry, Spilly. Down the inside now on Crossy F1, moving himself up into P3 now. Goes Spilly. So now Crossy in that Trident car. Actually, no, that's not Trident. Sauber car has now got himself, been pushed back down to P4. He has Big Donga right behind him. And Kick by Kiwi and Gaming Wafer now swapping positions. So Gaming Wafer's got off to a terrible start here. He's down to P11 from P7. So unfortunately for him, he's dropped a lot of spots off the start of the race. He's dropped 4, I believe. So he's got a little bit of work to do here if he wants to get himself back up into the top 10. He's actually in P11 at the moment. Breno now making a move on Aussie Suspect. And now Sidepod actually follows him through. So into P14 now goes Sidepod and Breno up into 13. So unfortunately for the Arden team, they haven't had the best of starts to the season. They're down in P15 and 16 at the moment.
Yeah, both Breno and Sidepod starting from the rear of the grid on that last row and getting through cleanly, picking up the pieces.
Now Todd's already up into P17, so he's made 3 moves already on Dr. Dre, Dan, and obviously Iceman, who's spun round at the exit of the final corner. So Toddy now has Talunacy in front of him in that Arden car. Will be his next suspect. But Zach Crun leads away 0.6 of a second still, separate himself and Pure Gold. Another 0.6 separate himself and Pure Gold and Spilly. So it's pretty tight at the moment between the top 3. DRS will be enabled this lap, so they will have a little bit of slipstream, DRS advantage heading into P2, not P2, turn 3. So you can see they're all slipstreaming each other here. Pure Gold trying to get the move done here on Zach Crun. Wasn't able to get it done, but he will have DRS. Obviously, it is only lap 3, so Zach's really wants to hold on to this position here. DRS will be available here to Pure Gold. I need to bring up the telemetry for you guys. I forgot about that. So as you can see, Pure Gold does have DRS this time around, but unfortunately wasn't able to get it done. He wasn't really close enough heading into the braking zone of turn 3, but they both nearly made contact there heading into the braking zone. So that's allowed Spilly to catch up now to the back of that little train.
Yeah, and Zach's starting to open up a little bit of an advantage here coming out of the first sector. Bit of a lock up there into the hairpin though, but the gap is maintained at 7/10.
Crossy F1 right on the rear of Spilly heading into that double left-hand. DRS will be available to him down this straight. I think Spilly's really trying to set up a move here on Pure Gold. He doesn't want to let them get away early in this Grand Prix, but you also don't really want to push your tyres unnecessarily either. If you don't really need to push your tyres, like in Zach Crime's boat at the moment, he's got 0.6 of a second. He really needs to save them through this second and final sector, and then once you get to the main straights, all through sector 1, that's really where you want to push them, because you need to make sure you get these tyres all the way to lap 12. Obviously, you can make a pit stop in the sprint race, but it can either work really good in your favour or can really hurt you. So you will if you pit around the lap 7-ish, 8-ish mark, you could actually be really quick towards the end of the Grand Prix, but obviously no other driver will be making a pit stop, most likely. So we'll have to see if any drivers actually opt to do that. But Zach now goes faster with a 42.3, so he's trying to pull away from Pure Gold. He's extended that gap a little bit more than what it was last lap. So, and now who's that making a move? That looks like it's Jay Schmidt down the inside on Big Donga heading into turn 1. He gets the job done. So now up into P5 goes Schmidt. Obviously, his teammate will be the next driver in front of him. So the two Saubers are doing a pretty good job at the moment in P4 and P5. So they're looking to take home some good constructors points here this afternoon. He's right behind him. So we'll have to see if there's any team orders here between the two Sauber cars.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether they ask to swap or, figure something out between them, whether he gives the position back later or makes a move. But BK is looking like he's having a really nice race here. He's gotten to the front of that second pack, and it'll be interesting to see if he can latch onto this front group of 7 that have pulled away from him.
He's currently in P8 at the moment. He's up 7 spots, so he's currently up the most, I believe. And it looks like Gaming Wafer is now making a move on Kickbutt. Kiwi did make a move. Hits an air. He is into P11. So Gaming Wafer, the man that qualified on pole position for the feature race, unfortunately is battling just to stay into the top 10. So, well, he's not even battling for the top 10 at the moment, I believe. Is that Roscoe Armour? Actually, yes, he is battling for the top 10. Sorry about that. So he's really struggling at the moment as a Gaming Wafer. He needs to get himself into the points if he wants any chance at potentially even leading this the standings on the end of the first round. But I think Schmidt at the moment, if he can just continue what he's doing, moving up spots, as he's got ahead of Big Dong the last lap, and he's now got his eyes on his teammate Crossy in front, who looks like he's not really catching up at the moment. I think Schmidt will be on to be leading the point standings after round 1 at Bahrain.
Yeah, well, his 2 closest rivals after that
Oh,
first
he's made
race
contact there
being-
with Crossy, I think. So I think that was a little bit of lag, but I think Crossy's actually lagging a little bit here. So Crossy may have lagged out of the session. As you can see, he's actually off the track now with Schmidt. So I think Crossy's lagging a little bit on his screen because Schmidt just ran off the track for no obvious reason there. Now look at that, Big Dong I think made contact there with Crossy. So I think the Sauber car's really lagging
we
here.
see a bit ghosting going on right here. So.
Yeah, so I think that unfortunately for Schmidt... Yeah, so Schmidt did get pushed. I think Schmidt got pushed off the track on his screen, but unfortunately not for us. So Crossy's just now let them both go through so that there's no real problems. And he has Plebs right behind now in the Prema car. He's going to be wanting to take home some points. I don't believe he scored any points or got into the top 10 in the feature race. So he'll be wanting to take home some points here for Prema. Obviously his teammate at the moment of Dr. Dre hasn't had the best of first races and he's not looking too flash at the moment down in P19. So Prema really struggling. I think Roscoe's had a little bit of an incident. So he's into the wall in a pretty weird spot actually. So I'm not too sure if Roscoe has made contact with someone. Yeah, so now he's all the way down the back with his teammate Dan the Racer. Look at this little battle here between Lunacy, Iceman and Dr. Dre. They're all battling for P16 at the moment. They're really tight heading into the braking zone of that left-hander. So Dr. Dre is going to try and get a move done here on Lunacy. He's going to go down the inside. By the looks of it, he wasn't deep enough on the brake, so unfortunately, so Dre is going to hold on to P18 there. They both run off tracks and they're abusing the track limits a little bit here, but it's not really battling for much, to be honest. But Zach Crun still leads the way, lap 6 of 12, halfway through the race. Pure Gold MP2. He's actually caught up now as Pure. That gap's down to a 10th. And Zach Crun's been locking up a little bit here at the beginning of this Grand Prix. So this is really going to hurt his tyres. Spilly is trying to catch up or hold on, if anything, to that train. Schmidt in P4 ahead of Dongo, Crossy, Plebs. And BK's trying to catch up. It looks like Plebs is going to try and make a move here on Crossy, but I'm not too sure. He's kind of jumping all over the place at the moment, is Crossy. So it's going to be hard for Plebs to get a move done here.
Yeah, and as we've seen there, Joe Schmidt up into 4th spot past Big Dongo down that front straight. Big Dongo kind of lost the rear out of the last corner and didn't get a good drive, so pretty reasonable pass there for Schmidt. It'd be interesting to see now with some space ahead of him whether he can pull in on Spilly and fight for this podium. We're almost at the halfway point here on lap 6.
They head to the second sector now, so they're halfway through lap 6, so they're exactly halfway through this race at the moment. So as we just said, Schmidt really trying to catch up to Spilly here. He's been pushing he'll obviously be a little bit hurt on tyre wear because he did have to pass a couple of people to get himself up to where he is, but it looks like Toddson and Kickbutt Kiwi, the two teammates, are now going side by side on the exit of that left-hander. They nearly made contact there, the two Vitersi drivers, but looks like Toddson is going to get the job done on Kickbutt Kiwi. So back up into the points, but he's locked up. The inside front tyre there is Toddy, so Kickbutt Kiwi now is going to try and potentially make a move here on his teammate. Toddson moves twice there, so his teammate might not be too happy about that, but he's definitely quicker at the moment as Toddson, but he's done a really nice job here as the Vitersi driver of Toddson to go from the rear of the grid after lap 1 and already back up into the points back position.
Very good recovery drive there. I'll tell you whose heart will be racing though, the team boss. A few sketchy moments between the two here as they come side by side down the straight. Oh, and there we go!
Whoa! Toddy's put Kickbutt Kiwi into the wall, so the two teammates collide. This is the first collision between teammates we have seen this season, and he nearly comes back out in front of Toes Rudy and Breno. But unfortunately now to Lunacy, the first retirement of the Grand Prix. Will we see a safety car even? We haven't seen a safety car so far this season, and doesn't look like it will be. It'll just be local yellow, so I think he may have retired in the pit lane there. So that is the first time we've seen teammates collide on a I'm pretty confident Kickback Kiwi has damage. He does to his right end plate, so that's going to be interesting for the stewards to decide on what happens there.
Yeah, there's definitely a fair few. I think it was more emotional kind of moving into that.
Yeah.
We saw a couple of double moves in that previous straight beforehand, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes and between the drivers after the race, whether it's pretty civil or yeah.
I'm not too sure. Just thinking about it now. I was about to say there's no ERS in these cars either, but I honestly can't remember. Can you change like your fuel mix in these cars from rich to lean? I think you can.
I think you can. There might be only 2
Actually, no, there's definitely 3. Yeah, then you can change. Yeah, there is a rich, lean, and standard. So that's the only thing you can pretty much change in terms of engine settings in the F1 game. Obviously, there might be a little bit more in the real life, but I think Pure Gold at the moment is just trying to sit behind Zach Crichton and save up his tyres for the end of the Grand Prix, because you can see Zach's really pushing hard at the moment. He's been locking up his tyres a lot, and I don't think Pure's has done it yet. So Kickbutt Kiwi's now into the pit lane for a front wing change, so unfortunately his race is pretty much done. So now he'll drop all the way to the rear of the grid.
Speed into there as well, so...
Breno and Toes Rudy going at it. Breno and Toes Rudy. This is for the battle of P11. I think Breno just made a pass into turn 1 as well on Toes Rudy, so now he gets himself up into P11. Does the Dams driver. So let's have a look at the teams as well. So Zach Crichton, he's in the Carlin at the moment. He's teammate of is it Toes Rudy? No, it's not. I'm trying to remember who's the other
yes,
Carlin.
it is.
It is? Toes Rudy? Okay, yeah. So Toes Rudy is currently in P12 at the moment, so he's trying to catch it. He's just been overtaken by Breno, so unfortunately I don't think he'll be scoring points here this afternoon. Pure Gold in the Dams car, so him and Breno. So he's got one. Dams has currently got 1 car in the top 10 at the moment. Breno just outside the top 10. He has Todster in front of him.
When Todster just makes a move on Gaming Wafer, a little bit of contact, but fairly clean in terms of no driver spinning, as we previously saw.
Now Todster moved himself up into P9, pushing Gaming Wafer back down to P10. I think Toddy's made a little mistake there, so now they're going to go side by side down the straight. I'm not too sure if Toddy's actually trying to wait here for DRS, but they will now swap positions heading into the braking zone. Gaming Wafer gets himself back up into P9, but Todster will have DRS here available to him. There's yellow flag through Sector 2. I think that's kicked by Q.
We just lost Roscoe.
Yeah, okay. I'm not too sure what's happened to him, but it looks like Toddy is going to try and go around the outside here of the Gaming Wafer. Obviously, these two are not the best of mates after watching the first race, and now Toddy goes clean around the outside, heading into turn 1. So the Vitersi driver now moved himself up into P9. And now look at this. I think Big Dong has had a little bit of an incident. No, he hasn't actually. He's getting put under pressure now from Crossy. They made contact there. Has Big Dong and Crossy, they're going to go side by side, heading into the chicane section. They do make even more contact. I think Crossy definitely made contact with his front wing, but well, fortunately for him, didn't lose any. But he's been very deep under brakes there, did Crossy, and he's not. Did he nudge himself up into P6? And now Plebs and Big Dong answer the wall. I didn't get a view of that, unfortunately, so I'm not too sure if you did it all, but Plebs...
I only just saw it. A little bit of an overlap coming out of the corner there. Plebs was on the inside, and unfortunately, the contact has thrown them back down the field. While we were talking about it, the safety car is out.
Safety car is out, lap 9.
This will be very interesting. Who will pit onto some softs? We might see, or onto fresh tyres at least anyway. We might see some drivers take a bit of a gamble here. Just before the safety car came out, Schmidt did move up into 3rd on Spilly as well.
But I think everyone's just going to follow what Zach and Pure Gold here do, to be honest. That's personally what I think is going to happen, but if I was Zach and Pure Gold, I'd personally stay out. I don't think there's going to be enough racing laps, to be honest, because it's going to be out for at least 3 laps, so that's going to go to around lap 11-ish. See, Zach does stay out, and Pure Gold does as well. Schmidt does. Spilly goes into the pits. Actually, no, he doesn't, so... Spilly technically could be in a little bit of trouble there, because he did actually cross the white line. He went over into the pit lane, but then crossed that white pit entry line.
First driver that is in, Big Donger.
And he's sped into the pit as well.
Into the pit lane as well.
But he has damage as well after that
contact.
Got
a couple of drivers following him in here.
So Plebs is coming in, so yeah. It's just the people that do have damage, so unfortunately for them.
Spot on there.
Yeah. Who else is coming into the pits? Dan the Racer, Kickbutt Kiwi is staying out.
Sidepod and Dan the Racer both into the pits here. I don't think they had any damage, so where they're pitting a little bit further back, it might help them out, obviously, to make them a few positions where they originally were.
But they're not going to lose anything, so...
Yeah, that's exactly it.
You may as well gamble.
May as well take the game.
Yeah. So they're all going to come out of the top 15. It looks like we may only get 1 racing lap here. Unless the safety car comes in this lap.
Yeah, you might see a change of the fastest lap as well. Schmidt did get it a couple of laps back. Not by too much from what Spilly and the 2 other drivers at the top 4 have done. But I think some of those soft runners will definitely break that fastest lap. So you might see points if they can get back to, I think it's the same rules as well, isn't it? Only fastest lap points if you're in the top 10.
Yeah, I believe so. Will we see the safety car in this lap? They're about to cross the Sector 3 line, so it could come in this lap. It doesn't... Originally, I thought it was when the whole train caught up, so does the safety car... It is in this lap, so...
There we go.
Safety car in this lap. They're going to get 2 laps of racing here, so unfortunately, a lot of the drivers are not going to be able to catch up. Roscoe Arm, Kickbutt, Plebs, down the race, Sidepod, Donga, Doctor, and Donga are all not going to be able to catch up to the grid here, or the back of this train, so all those soft tyre runners are completely stuffed now. So unfortunately for them, they're going to be dropping heaps of positions here, and this has actually worked out really good for Dre. He was down in P18, I believe, and now he's up into P13, just staying out, so... Now we're going to have to wait to see when Zach Crine does go. No overtaking is permitted until you cross the start-finish line, and it looks like he's gone now. So Zach Crine has accelerated away from the field. Obviously, this would have helped Zach a little bit as well, considering he has been using his tyres up a lot. So Pure Gold will now...
Billy's got a nice run here as well.
Will he go down the inside? He's going to go the outside line now as Spilly. Does he get it done on Jay Schmidt? He's not going to get it done. He's going to get the crisscross, though, is Spilly. He's going to have the better run on the exit of turn 2. He's going to go the outside line. Will it swap to the inside? He does. No DRS available, and it won't be available for the rest of this race, as there's only 2 laps remaining in this Grand Prix, and it looks like Spilly's going to hold back into P4. Schmidt very deep on the brakes and nearly hit the back of Pure Gold, but it looks like Crossy now has moved himself up into P6, and a big he's made contact. Crossy around on the exit of turn 3. So unfortunately for him, he's made contact now with BK. So BK... maybe in a little bit of strife there, but I think Crossy may have not given him any room on the exit of turn 3. Definitely did dive down the inside, but I'm not too sure what's happened there. Iceman's up in a P9 now, so he's done a pretty good job as well. He's up 3 spots, but Breno's up 11 spots in this Grand Prix. So Breno's done a very good job here.
I tell you who has got a really good thing with this safety car. Toddster's up to P5 after being in the last spot.
So he's actually... I'm not too sure. Did he make a pit stop?
He's not. I don't think he did come into the pits. I'll just double check.
So Todd's up in a P5 now. He's trying to catch up to the back of this battle pack. So there's yellow flag in Sector 2. I think that was for VSR Roscoe. I'm down in P19, but there's a 5-way battle at the moment for the lead of the Grand Prix. So this is going to be mega tight as they now head on to, or are about to head on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. Zach Crime, Pure Gold, Schmidt, Spilly, Toddster are all battling for the win here. Gaming Wafer, unfortunately, a little bit out of that train at the moment. So is Toddster actually, but he can definitely catch up. Zach Crine defending the inside line. Pure Gold will have it up into Rich, and he'll have all the engine settings up into Max. And he's going to potentially go to the outside line here. He does, so he's going to try and hang it around the outside. Heading against turn 1. Zach Crine locks up. Heading against turn 1, so this is really going to hurt him. And now Pure Gold into the lead of the Grand Prix. And now it looks like Schmidt is going to get himself up into P2 here. Actually, no, So Zach Crine has unfortunately lost a lot of spots here. After that little mistake, he ran way too deep into turn 1. So now Spilly's going to try and get the move done on Zach as well. These 2 teammates here. Actually, they're not teammates. Never mind. So Spilly...
Toddster just lost the rear and saved it, though, in the background.
So now Zach Crine went from the lead to P3 in 3 corners. Unfortunately for him, and now Spilly back down the inside. Well, nice move there from Spilly. It's very textbook there from himself. He baited Zach Crine. Contact and then gone. Zach Crine and Spilly are gone in the same spot, the big donger. And Plebs, unfortunately... made contact, so there's definitely going to be a few incident reports here. But now Todd's up in a P3 from the rear of the grid. He's up in a P3, and unfortunately Spillage retired from the race. Jay Schmidt actually could be on for a win. Look at him, he's already at the back of Pure Gold. This is going to be close. I'm going to see, does Pure Gold have any damage? I don't think he does. Doesn't look like it, but does Schmidt dive down the inside? He doesn't. He's going to wait for this next straight. Does he nudge himself down the inside? Pure Gold ran a little bit wide, and he's got a very nice run here. Has Jay Schmidt, he's going to have a slipstream. No DRS available, obviously, but he may try and do it up to the run. Onto the start-finish straight. He does dive down the inside. Now to Schmidt. Does he get it done? Very deep on the brakes, but unfortunately, no. Pure Gold's going to get the switch back. And it looks like that's going to be the Grand Prix. Pure Gold's going to come across the line and win race 2 of the Bahrain Grand Prix for the PS4 Formula 2 Pacific Series. Congratulations to himself, but definitely driver of the day. I reckon Toddster. After that recovery drive, to be honest, I reckon he deserves it. Or even Jay Schmidt from where he started. I reckon weekend or the best. You go.
I think Gaming Wafer has also just saved himself a lot of grief there. He was down in about like 10th or 11th spot at one point, fighting with Toddster. But after that first race, you'd expect them both to be at the front. And they both finished in the top 4 there. Really good race from 19th on the grid by Breno. He's picked up a fair few points with that one. And BK has also come up, I think, 11 spots.
I'm going to just quickly go through your top 10 here, because we also need to have a look to see, because in the Formula 2 weekend, there is added points. I'm just going to skip the podium celebrations here so I can go through your top 10 results from the sprint race, and then also have a look at the weekend results for you. So we'll go to sprint race here. So Pure Gold took the win. Jay Schmidt got fastest lap as well in the end, so he'll take home some extra points there for Sauber. Todd's the MP3 ahead of the gaming way for BK, Breno, Iceman, Toes Rudy. Zach Crine came on P9 in the end after that, so he must have made a bit more contact after that little... Actually, no, he did spin around. That's right, with Spilly. I completely forgot about that. Dr. Dre got himself into the points as well for Prema in the end, so congratulations to him. He was down in P17 at one point in that Grand Prix, so he did a pretty good job to get himself in the points. But obviously, without a doubt, Jay Schmidt has taken home the win overall after adding both the sprint race and feature race points added together, so he will take home the most points this afternoon for Sauber ahead of the gaming way for MP2. Todson will come home P3 ahead of Pure Gold and P4 for Dams, and running at your top 5 in the weekend results will be Spilly, Zach Crine in P6, P7 Crossy F1, P8 BKXI, so ahead of his teammate MP9 of Big Donga, and rounding out your weekend results in your top, your top 10 weekend results will be Breno. But that has been round 1 of the Race Spec F1 Esports PS4 Formula 2 Sprint Series. Unfortunately, I don't think we have enough time to do any post-race interviews. Hopefully next week we'll be able to do some for you guys. But thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you so much, CurvingTexas, for also joining me in the commentary box tonight. It's been a pleasure having you.
Same here. Pleasure working alongside you tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining me. But thank you as well, everyone that's joined the stream. If you guys aren't around here, obviously do hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to get notified when the streams go live. But my name is Exprit. Thank you, Curving, for joining me in the commentary box, and I will see you guys next time.
Ciao.